Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Skyland Shore, and today I wanted to give my first impression on Winter Wyvern, and I guess you could say it's first impression, but really it's kind of like a full review, because I actually played this character a lot more than I normally would for this sort of series. Normally I play a couple games, maybe 5, and I don't know, maybe at max 10, but for Winter Wyvern, I really kind of dug into the character because it was so awkward, and I felt like I had a really bad first impression on Winter Wyvern. So I guess the first part of this will be talking about my very first impressions, and that is, well, she's really unintuitive. She actually does not feel like a very comfortable character to be playing as a new player, and I know not a lot of new players have to play supports. And a lot of supports, you know, are kind of straightforward. They do have a little bit of awkwardness with them because Dota is very, I don't know, specific with their abilities. But Winter Wyvern is more specific and unintuitive than pretty much any other character that I've played. Now, for instance, I'll just give you her W, okay? Her W is really interesting. See, her W actually is a missile. It's pretty long range and really good for harass. But the problem is that whatever target you click on, it will do nothing to that target. It'll shoot the missile, it'll hit that character, that creep, that jungle monster, that player, whatever, but it will do nothing. Now, what happens next is the actual effect of the ability. It shrapnels out, kind of shotguns out, and then multiple missiles follow out from that and then hit the nearest targets. So this way you can actually harass super long range if you hit the caster creep in the back, and then you can harass the people behind that. It's really good and strong, but it's just, you know, as a new player, it's kind of awkward to get around the fact that you're not going to do any damage to the person that you're clicking on. So her 1v1 isn't the strongest. Not to say that she's not safe, she definitely has some escape potential, but her escape is also her engage, and it has a huge cooldown. It's like a whole page of effects with it. It's so weird. Okay, so her Q actually gives her flight. It also increases her vision at night. Really interesting. It increases her attack range. It gives her attacks a slow to it, more damage, and it's for such a brief amount of time for how long the cooldown is. It's so strange. So her flight, what this does is that it allows you to go through terrain, so kind of like Spirit Breaker, but you can actually control it yourself. So this is where I was a little bit awkward with her because you move so slow. Maybe you'll get across the terrain a little bit or through some trees, and then it'll cut out because it's really short, and then you'll kind of get stuck. And so, you know, those kind of situations happen. Or yeah, I would be escaping, I'd get stuck myself, or I would try to engage and I just wouldn't go far enough, and I would just kind of, yeah, not make it in time. So very awkward. And yes, if you do use it as an engage in order to sneak up on people without a force staff, without a blink dagger, which I don't even know if you need it with a blink dagger, then you're wasting all that potential attack damage and the attack range and the attack slow, and you're just wasting all that just to get to the enemy. So it's a little bit awkward. Now, I really do suggest getting Force Staff. This took me a couple of games to understand that Force Staff is actually really strong on her because it really helps her disengage. It helps her engage entirely. If you can Force Staff as you Q through a wall or through the forest, you can do a really good engage, and she's really strong as an engage character or disengage character. I'd say a little bit more as a disengage, but you can totally engage with her because of her ultimate. Now, her ultimate freezes somebody in place. And I do believe the League of Legends character Lissandra was very much based on Winter Wyvern thematically as well as mechanically. So this, you freeze an enemy in place, and what's really cool about this is that it maddens everyone around that character so that it attacks them. So essentially, if you get a really good engage, if you Force Staff in real quick like, you can pretty much AoE the entire enemy team. Really strong. A 1v1 pretty much just used as an escape as well. I really like her other freezing mechanic. She has a heal, and she can heal herself or she can heal an ally, but the problem is very troll worthy, especially for new players. It's kind of hard to understand this, but her W freezes an ally in place or yourself, and it heals you. That's really cool. It does freeze you in place though, as in literally, it's not just a root. You literally cannot do anything for that duration. However, you are immune to attack damage, but you're not immune to magic damage. You see what's happening there? So sometimes you might think that you're going to save somebody. You see an Axe about to ult somebody, so you freeze them, but, well, Axe's ultimate goes through that, so GG, you just killed them when maybe they could have blinked away or something like that. It's just really awkward stuff. You definitely have to look at her abilities and really read them. And yes, they are really long descriptions. It's really huge descriptions, but mechanically very simple spells. Point, click, you just kind of do it. When you actually memorize all the numbers, all the statistics, she can actually be really fun, really, I guess, mechanical once you actually start getting some of these items, like Yule Scepter, which is going to increase your speed, as well as Force Staff. When you actually start getting some items on her, which is kind of hard as a support, but those are really, you don't need too many items on her. She's really good from level 1. However, really long cooldowns and really high troll potential. So for this one, I'm going to suggest don't be a new player, don't pick the support. She's not as mechanical as maybe like Earth Spirit, but she's the same level of difficulty that you get with Sand King. Sand King mechanically pretty easy to understand, but there's a lot of memorization and math that goes behind it, where you want to have a really firm grasp of how the game is played before you even attempt these characters, and that's how it is. Dota is a very strategic game, and Winter Wyvern really epitomizes that. So if you really enjoy Dota mechanics, you're going to have a lot of fun with this character. However, if you're coming from a game like League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm, it might feel a little bit awkward playing Winter Wyvern. But still, I mean, aesthetically, she looks really good. I like how she sounds as well. Very eerie and creepy kind of voice. And overall, I think she fits well with the game. I'm glad that she's finally in. She is a character from Dota 1, and we only got a couple more characters from Dota 1, and after that, maybe we're gonna get some originals. So here's to that, guys. I'm sorry this video came out a little bit later, but, you know, to attest to that, this character, this Winter Wyvern, is really, really awkward. I am a newish player. I'm like only 500 games in, so there is that. So that's my bias. I like more mechanical characters. Winter Wyvern I actually still had fun with. Just took a little bit longer to get used to. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Skyline Shore with Attack Gaming, and please come back, Attack, and we'll see you again soon.
So thanks for watching. Be sure to leave this video a like, subscribe. You can find us on Twitter. _ Mark McDonald, NWC
No one wants to hear that shit.
No, they want to hear it. This is the first time they've made it all.
Maybe they do.
No one wants to hear it. Everyone's like, oh, that was a really cool video. And then at the end, they're like, don't forget to subscribe. And everyone's like, oh, come on.
I tweet essentially to an open, empty room.